Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm gonna show you what have I chose to read for the month of December. My number one book is Principles by Ray Dalio. Number two is The One Thing. Number three is Show Your Work. Number four is The Habit of Coaching. And then I'm going into philosophical. This is just a curiosity of mine. I want to just know points of view of other people, and one is Denial of Death by Ernest Becker, and the other one is The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt. And for pleasure reading or for curiosity reading as well is Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. And I do get questions: how do I read so many books at the same time? Do they actually make sense to me, or do I mix the ideas from it? So I'm going to explain it. When I work with a book, I use a system that works very well for me, and I do use a lot of sticky notes, sticky flags, whatever they're called, and I use highlighters, and I will use pens. And let me explain to you how it works. So if I find in the book an idea that I really like it, or I want to make a video about, or it's like life-changing, or I want to explore more, I would use the thick flags, and that's what you'll see in my books. And if there's an idea that I like how the author thinks, or something I like he said, or something that complements my big ideas, I'll use smaller sticky notes. When I'm reading, actually not after, I do highlight, and I do use pens to write on the sides of the book. I like these highlighters, I like the colors, I like how they work. Let me show you inside. I do like these pens specifically, and I don't choose a brand. Any brand like this that have felt tips and like very tiny tips, I really like them, because I find it easier to write very clear notes, and you can make it small or big as you want. So here's my book, and this is how it looks inside. Let me see what page to show you. So I want a page that will show to you more than just, okay, let's go with this page. So for this page, you see I did highlight it, I do have notes, and then I used this part to write more, explore more this idea. And you can see I used larger ones for the ideas that I find interesting, and then smaller ones for compliments. And I do that for every book. And I have a notebook where I actually write, not a summary, but I do write about what the ideas I like, and then my annotations to it. What do I think? How would I use it? Or maybe for the new book. So it really happens very often to me that I would just start reading a book, and then I would just go and order something new. And this was like, in this book I started reading The One Thing, which led to buying Show Your Work, which led to buying The Coaching Habit. Did I read like this all my life? No, I didn't, because I didn't have the means to buy the books. Right now, I don't want to say that I have the means to buy the book, but I do make it work for me. And let me tell you more on these books. So now let me tell you more about the books. So on these books, this is my number one book to read this month. So I'm actually spending every single day reading something from this book. And when I saw it this weekend when I went with my kids to Barnes and Nobles, and it was just hidden somewhere there, and I really wanted to see it. Catch my attention because obviously it has the good colors. It's black, red, and white, and it had a preface where it was something from Bill Gates telling about the book and other people. And I decided I wanted to buy, but it was like, I don't remember, like $30 or $40 on Barnes and Noble. And I decided to look it up on Amazon, and on Amazon I got it for like $18. And when it came home, I thought I'm gonna look for it, and I'm to decide if I like it. And as soon as I open it, I didn't like it. I loved it. I really did love it. It's very, very, very nice book. So this is something I'm reading. I find the author Ray Dalio to be a person who is very showing humility, and who is I don't know who this person is. I don't tend to Google the people behind the books because I do like people in order to listen to what they say. So in case I don't like him or the news about him, I might not read it. So I just decided to give a shot to the book. Maybe when I finish it, I'll Google him to see who he is. I know that he's very rich and he's like in different magazines, or I don't know. It really doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that the book has good, interesting words. It has good points that I can apply in my life. I can learn from him. So this is my number one for December. Number two would be for me, Show Your Work. This is a very tiny book by Austin Kleon. It's a book that will make you do stuff. It's a book that, I don't know, every time I read something in it, I'm like up to do it. I'm up to absolutely do it. And it's very, it's very, very creative. I think it's very simple, and I probably could read it very fast, like probably in the next 30 minutes I could finish it. But I do tend to take good notes on it, and I do tend to research and see how I can use the specific things, and then I take time to think. I don't believe in reading from the book like fast. I believe in reading from the book and see how you can apply it to yourself, or what you can learn, like one action. So for example, if the chapter has like maybe 6 things I could change that really impressed me, I won't change all 6 because that's going to be too much, and then I have other things to do, and then that's going to be disappointing for me. So I would choose one thing that it's most important to me to change or to work on, and then I make a list of all the things I want, and then I just go by list. And that's why I have a notebook where I do write. I don't write summaries, as I said, but I do write important points from the book and how can I use it. My other book to go is the number one thing, and this book is it goes really around one thing. Like every chapter, it goes around and goes around, goes around, goes around. But it puts it from different perspectives, and at one point you might think that it's like, again, but it's repetition that really actually works in our heads. And look, I opened here and it says, poor job of estimating our limits. So you see, this is something that makes you think, because sometimes we think we're limitless, and then we don't get what we want, and we get disappointment and anxious, and maybe don't feel good about ourselves. And other thing can be that we think we cannot do stuff, we're limited, and then we don't try for something harder. So the book puts it in a perspective where you can see how to actually regulate your own view on yourself and your abilities. So I really enjoyed this book. The next one is The Coaching Habit by Michael Bungay Stanier. And the reason I got this book was based on those other books, and I did it because I believe that the best motivator for yourself is your own self. And I know that coaches, life coaches or career coaches or any type of coach is actually very powerful towards people they coach. And I decided to give it a try and see how I can apply these principles to myself and to my family. And I can tell you that already my kids really appreciate what I'm telling them, and I feel I really feel very good about being able to read and implement and suggest and see that people are appreciated. My kids are appreciated. On the Elon Musk book, this is a book that I don't have a target to finish in a specific time. I don't have a target to read it every day, so I'm okay if I don't read it 3-4 days and then go back to it. Right now I'm making some videos about how what I'm learning from this book, what I'm reading about him, and that's when usually once a week I would go and summarize what I read, and then I'll read the next one so I can have it ready for YouTube. But I decided I never wanted to buy this book specifically. There's things that I agree with Elon Musk and things I disagree, and things I agree to disagree. But the reason I bought this book, it was obviously at Costco, but I want to tell you that it's cheaper on Amazon. At Costco I paid more. But it's interesting that when I listened to the interviews from Walter Isaacson about this book, I didn't like how he spoke of Elon Musk, and I don't think he likes him. And I wanted to read this book so I can put it against other things I can read online, and things I created in my own mind about Elon Musk. And I will tell you, it's a very interesting book to read. I like how Elon Musk thinks, but I do associate, and I can see myself in many positions as him. I do have a mentality or thinking process as Elon Musk's as well, and I hope that I'm not as impulsive or not as okay. Anyways, we'll never know the truth, I guess, on YouTube. So this is the reason I'm reading it, because I want to. And there's when you read about him, and there's something you can really deduct some points that you can use for yourself. And then, excuse me, please. I'm sorry. So I'm doing everything in the video that you shouldn't do in order to have your videos liked. These two I'm reading it's because it's very interesting to me how our brain can be manipulated by politics and by religion and by everything around us, basically. And I want to see a new perspective, more philosophical, to see where I'm limiting myself. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't believe in God. I do believe in God, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't be religious or spiritual beings. I'm saying that sometimes we can limit ourselves, or we can do things that we will enjoy, as they say, after death, instead of enjoying our life right now. And I think if you have a balance, it's better. So I'm reading these two to see how I can maybe see if my point of view is wrong, or maybe I can learn something. And that day I was talking to my husband, and he said something that how news and how commercials can influence our brain. And I just remembered I have a book called Your Brain is Always Listening by Daniel Amen. And I just decided I'm gonna read, maybe look through and see if I want to read it too. So these are all my books, and I hope you did enjoy it, and maybe you're reading the same books. It was funny that at my work, one of my coworkers, we were talking about our weekends, and I told her that I got the book, The Principles by Ray Dalio, and she's reading the same book. It was very interesting. Now I have someone to talk to about it too. So if you do read anything specifically you like, please comment, and also subscribe, like, and share. It's really hard to grow this channel. It's really, really hard, and I'm working on it.